We are going to continue our conversation today about subtraction. I was very much impressed with your ability to regroup yesterday. I've given you some feedback on those equations. Yesterday's work was not for a grade because it was introducing how to regroup, but I was able to give you feedback on what you did well and something you might need to fix. So if you got some feedback about some things that you need to fix, you might want to consider those as we're moving through today's lesson. If you got feedback that you rocked it and did awesome, then you will want to think about those concepts again today as we are regrouping two place values. So yesterday we only regrouped one place value. We regrouped the tens into the ones, or we regrouped the hundreds into the tens. Today, we're doing both. Every problem that we solve today will require us to move the tens into the ones and the hundreds into the tens, okay? So we're going to take a look at a video lesson today that comes from yours truly, that is going to explain how we are to regroup when we have two items to regroup. And I need my Zoom controls to go away. There we go. When we have two place values to regroup, okay? It can get a little messy if you don't have a plan. So the purpose of today is for you to see the plan of how to show regrouping these models, okay? Let me make sure I've shared my sound. There we go. All right, place value with two regroupings.
Hey, third grade, we're going to continue our conversation today on subtracting whole numbers fluently within 1,000. So we're going to focus specifically on correctly subtracting numbers to 1,000 with regrouping today. Yesterday, you learned how to regroup one place value. Today, we're going to look at what happens in subtraction equations when two place values need to be regrouped, specifically the tens and the hundreds. This means that we're going to focus on the more on the floor, go next door to get some more portion of our rhyme today. The majority of our digits and the place values will have more on the floor, and we're going to have to regroup a larger place into a lower place. So let's take a look at the steps. Follow along with this visual model as we read through steps 1 through 6. Step 1, as always, you start with the ones. If you can't subtract the ones because there's more on the floor, so you have to go next door, you'll take a 10 and move it into the ones column. 1 10 is 10 ones. In this equation, we had 2 already, so 10 plus 2 gives us 12 ones. Now we can subtract our 12 ones minus our 3 ones, and that gives us 9 ones. Step 3 is to move into the tens. If you can't subtract the tens, take 100 and move it into the tens column. In this case, we have 3 tens because we took 1 into the ones place. 3 tens subtracting 6 tens. We can't do that, so we have to borrow one of the 300s, turning it to 200. That gives us 13 tens. 13 tens take away 6 tens gives us 7 tens. Now we move on to the final step of the hundreds place. In the hundreds place, there are 2 hundreds, and we're taking away 100. So 2 minus 1 is equal to 100. So we begin with the ones, we move into the tens, and then finally we subtract the hundreds. Let's take a look at an example that's been completed for us. We've drawn the greatest number in the subtraction problem using place value blocks. 353 was our original number that we are subtracting 176 from. I've drawn 3 hundreds, 5 tens, and 3 ones. When I have 3 ones, I'm taking away 6. That was impossible. I had to regroup a 10 into that ones place. This gives me 13 ones. Now I can take away 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones. So there's a 7 in my ones place. Now
I see a question, Camille.
Take a look at the tens that I had left. There were 4. I need to subtract 7. That's impossible, so I'm moving this 100 into my tens place. Now I have 14 tens. I can subtract 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. So there's a 7 in my tens place. Now we take a look at the hundreds. We had 3, but we moved 1 to the tens, so there's only 2 hundreds left. I'm subtracting 1, so that leaves me with 100, so there's a 1 in my hundreds place. Now you'll watch me work one out live. So let's take a look at this equation. We have our reminder here of more on the floor, go next door to get some more. We have 436, which we have drawn. 4 hundreds, 3 tens, and 6 ones. I'm meant to subtract 267. I'll start with my ones place. I only have 6. I can't subtract 7. So I'm going to move one of these tens into the ones place. With numbers, that looks like this. We've taken 3 tens and we've moved 1, so we only have 2. Now we have 16 ones. 1 10 plus 6 ones is 16. Now I can subtract 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ones. So I will record a 9 in my ones place.
So here's where it can start to get tricky. We're getting ready to notice in our tens place that we only have 2 tens remaining. The problem is we've already regrouped this before. So if we're not careful, this can get really sloppy and we can make a mistake in the numbers that we're using. So I want you to pay attention for how to organize when you have to regroup an item 2 times. Okay, so pay attention.
Now we'll move on to the tens. I have 2 tens. I'm asked to take away 6. That's impossible. So I'll have to take 100 and break it up into some 10 sticks. With numbers, that looks like this. I no longer have 4 hundreds, I have 3 hundreds. And I've added one of those hundreds into my 10 columns, so I record a 10 in front of the 2 for 12 tens.
So I have 12 tens now because we know that 100 is equal to 10 tens, plus 1 is 11, plus another is 12. So a couple of you had feedback regarding how to use these blocks. This is how you show a regrouping. This is how I know you understand what regrouping means and what it looks like, and we didn't just use a calculator, right? So this is how I'm able to see that you're understanding the concept. So when you see this on your work, I should see these regrouping circles and I should see these elimination marks for subtraction, okay? So I don't only want to see your numerical answer. I want to see that you can create a model that shows you understand what's happening. So I've regrouped one of these hundreds into my tens place because I only had 3. And as I showed you yesterday, when I was cutting these guys up, when we cut them up, we now have as many as we need to subtract. So that's the point of that regrouping.
Now I have 12 take away 6. 12 tens take away 6 tens is minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens. So I'll record a 6 in my tens place. And finally, we have the hundreds. There are 3 hundreds here, and I'm asked to subtract 2. There's more on top, so I don't need to stop. That leaves me with 100. So 436 subtract 267 is equivalent to 169. Now, you'll be working on some practice on Seesaw. You'll be focusing on correctly subtracting numbers to 1,000 with regrouping. You'll be regrouping 2 place values today. Please open up your Seesaw assignment and begin working.
Pause. Before we open up Seesaw, I want us to take a look at an example inside of our notebook. So go ahead and grab your math notebook or whatever notebook you're using. And we are going to take some notes on our double place value regrouping for subtraction. Okay, so get your math notebook available. We started some subtraction notes. We're going to continue on with those. So if you'll remember, yesterday we took a look at, or on Monday rather, we took a look at subtraction and we defined it. We showed an example. Now we're going to take a look at double place value subtraction. I don't have enough room at the bottom of my page, so I'm just going to turn my page and I'm going to write on that very next page. Okay? I'd like for you to title this note or these notes as subtraction and I'm going to use something called shorthand, which is an abbreviation when we're taking notes. W with a slash is short for with. I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to use that shorthand. Feel free to do that. Subtraction with regrouping. And again, if you don't have a notebook right now and you can't find yours, please just listen to the instruction and you can record these later as we upload them onto Seesaw. But you still need to be focused and listening and looking at the model, okay? So we're calling these notes subtraction with regrouping.
Can we draw like chopping down a tree?
We're going to take notes today on what I have here. If you would like to add something to yourself, that's fine. But first, I want you focusing on the notes that we take, okay? Because I don't want you to miss anything. Aiden L. Do you have a question? Go ahead and unmute, baby. Oh, I see it in the chat. Okay, you're good. I gotcha. All right, so subtraction with regrouping. We are going to take a look at how to use place value blocks to show this work. I want you to be able to have an example to reference, okay? So let's create an equation that will require us to regroup in two place values. So we're going to start off with a hundreds digit number on the top. And let's go ahead and start with 864. Got our even numbers. 864. That's kind of hard to see. I'll make that a darker blue. 864. It's going to be our minuend, which is the vocabulary term for the number on the top of a subtraction problem. 864. Subtract, and we're going to subtract a smaller number because in subtraction, our subtrahend or our lower number is always going to be smaller. So let's subtract 487 today. So 864 subtract 487. To show that we have an understanding, we're going to draw this top number using place value blocks. So we're going to draw in this lower area 800s, 610s, and 4 ones. You guys know how to draw picture forms, so go ahead and draw that. We're going to draw 8 squares for our 800. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Mine are more like rectangles, but that's okay because my brain understands what they mean. So now we've got our 800s, and now we need to draw our 610s. We're drawing this top number, the number that we're starting with. So I'm going to draw 610s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's my 610s. And now I need to draw my 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we've represented 864 using some picture form. We have 800s, we have 6 tens, and we have 4 ones. So now we're going to begin solving. Now we're going to go ahead and solve our subtraction equation using our numbers and using our notes. So we can see that we have 4 ones minus 7 ones. Well, that's impossible. Look, I only have 4. There's no way I can create 7. So I have to take a 10 and regroup it. So I'd like for you to draw a circle around one of your 10s and the 4 ones that you have to show that you now have 14 ones. And I'm actually going to write a 14 inside of my circle as a reminder.
Miss Salsa.
Because I know that when I have 1 10 and 4 ones, it's equal to 14. Aiden?
You fell asleep.
Okay. So now I can regroup this. So when we write that in numbers, here's how that looks. We are going to need to create a 10 right here next to the 14. But we can't just magically say there's a 10 there. We can't just go, boom, 10, yay, I'm magic. We have to get that 10 from somewhere. We took it from the tens place.
Help me.
So now there's only 5 of them. Because if we look here, we regrouped one of them into the ones, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 sticks left. So that's why we record this as 5, so we can make this 10 over here. So we have regrouped this to equal 14. I'm going to zoom in so you can see that. We have regrouped the 10 that we took from our tens place and the 4 that we already had into 14. So that's what this regrouping looks like. All right, so now we can subtract. So now I'm going to take my 14 ones and I'm going to minus 7 of them. So I could cross out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I know that 10 minus the 3 more is going to be 7. So this is 7. If I needed to, I could draw 10 ones right here. If my brain needed that picture, which is a great strategy, I could draw those and then cross out the 3 more that I need. So now I've crossed out 7 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that shows me that there are 7 left. Okay? Zoom in there. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at our tens place. Our tens place says that there are 5 tens. We're subtracting 8. That's impossible. Look, I only have 5. I can't make 8 appear. So I have to regroup one of my hundreds. So that's going to look like this. I am taking 100 and putting it in with my tens. We know that 100 is the same as 10 tens, so now I have 15 tens, because this is 10 plus 5. So I have 15 tens. Numerically up top, we can't just magically turn this into a 15 and say, yay, we did it. We have to get it from somewhere. We just took 100. See this 100 that's now in the tens circle? So now we only have 7 hundreds, but we have 15 tens. So we just regrouped to have 15 tens. So now we can subtract 15 minus 8. 15 minus 8 is 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So I would have 7 tens left. And again, if my brain needed to make these hundreds into 10 sticks so I could draw the subtraction, that's fine. I love to see that. So my brain can actually do it without it because I've been practicing subtraction for a while. But if you needed to draw this hundreds into 10 sticks, that's a great strategy to use because then you can see that when you subtract them, you still have 7 left. Now we have our hundreds. There are 7 hundreds and we're subtracting 4. Well, there's more on top, so I don't need to stop. So all I'm going to do is cross out 4 of my hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 3 remaining. So I would record a 3 in my hundreds place. So this is what I am expecting to see on your seesaw work to show me that you understand how subtraction works. I am much more interested in how you are working than I am in if you got the correct answer. Because anybody can get the correct answer to this. All you have to do is use a calculator. So I'm much more interested in you showing me that you understand. Okay? I'm going to leave this on here as you finish up writing, and as you're writing, I'm actually going to take a moment to upload it to Seesaw. And then we will take a look at your work. As you're finishing writing, I also see that there are a couple questions, so I'll take those questions as well. Aiden G. Terrence.
Can I show you my strategy?
Yeah, now would be a good time for you to write it down.
I just chopped down the tree and took away the 14 ones.
Nice. So you created your tens places into tall columns to look like the tree.
Mm-hmm.
I love the creativity, kiddo.
Thank you.
All right. Yes.
You're good. Better late than never, honey.
If you did not finish taking those notes, that is okay. I already have them on Seesaw. They are there for you now. So go ahead and pause on your note taking. And actually right now, I'm going to ask us to hit pause on math all together because I need to talk with you about your new related arts class for the next 5 days. So pause on math. We'll come back to it. I want to make sure before people log off that we see that. Okay? All right. Take a look at my screen. On Seesaw, inside of your journal, when you go to your folders icon, oh look, there's the notes I took, haha. When you go to your folder icon, you will see that there is a new folder called Related Arts. Right here, it's pink. Inside of Related Arts, I have uploaded the schedule for the rest of the rotation that we're on right now. So today you start your movement lab. Movement lab is what used to be called STEM lab. However, because of some pandemic issues, it's going to be a movement lab. There is no live Zoom. There is no seesaw work for this related arts class. This is all going to be found on this link called Symbaloo. You are doing this related arts class today, Thursday, Friday, next Monday, and next Tuesday. There's a video from me here explaining that to you. So when it's time for related arts later today, you're again going to go to your journal. You're going to click on your folders icon. You're going to open up that related arts folder. And here is your schedule and the work that you are going to do on Symbaloo. Okay? So there is not a class right here for related arts. You will not find one. It is going to be underneath the folder for related arts. And then this is all of the information that you need for related arts. Okay? So I wanted to make sure we had that before we logged off so that you all saw that and were able to understand, okay? All right. Any questions on that, related arts, before we hop back into math? Questions on related arts? Levin.
It's not about the related arts, but it is about one of the related arts. And music, I don't know how to submit things.
In Seesaw, go ahead and message Miss Gray. So send her a message on Seesaw in her class and she'll be able to help you. Okay? All right, awesome. Okay, so now back to math. Put your math hats back on. We're coming back to math. You have a Seesaw assignment. I love it. I saw all of you putting your hats on. You're awesome. You have an assignment that has been released to you called Fluently Subtract with 2 Regroupings. So again, you can look at the video lesson here. There's a great vocabulary about subtraction with regrouping that you're going to start with. So you're going to watch the vocabulary on subtraction with regrouping. I forgot to play this so you can watch it independently. We've already watched the instructional video, but if you feel like you need to, it's right here. You are also going to complete the work by clicking the Add Response button. Every problem in this assignment asks you to regroup both the hundreds and the tens. Complete the work by recording the digits in the difference and by drawing circles to regroup the models shown. So you are going to use the numbers and the models just like we have together today. Be sure you have followed all steps of the assignment before clicking the check. So this is going to look very similar to your work from yesterday, except today you're going to be regrouping 2 place values. So today you're going to be taking a look at equations that ask you to do both. Again, you'll review the success criteria and the rhyme. You'll read the steps to review, and then you'll begin working. So you will record the digits and the difference in the regrouping columns here. Oh, I made a typo. Look at that. There's a space with the E. You will circle the model to show the regrouping, just like we did together today. There are 4 equations for you to solve using the digits and the models, okay? This is your assignment for today during math. What questions can I answer about your assignment? What questions can I answer about your assignment? Okay, everyone feels good? Fantastic, I love that. All right, you have 13 minutes until lunch. I will be remaining on Zoom in case you have questions as you are working and would like some help. So if you feel like you might need help, you can stay logged on. Or if you log off and you need help, you can log back on. Your schedule for the rest of the day is here. At 11:15, you will go to lunch. Again, that's in 13 minutes. At 12 o'clock, you'll log back on and you will begin your office hours, which means you can log in to get help with me. And this is your work time to finish assignments. So during this time, you should be working on Seesaw. And if you are done, you should be working on Zern and then Prodigy. At 1:35, you're going to go to Related Arts in that pink folder that I just showed you. At 2:20, you'll hop back on for dismissal with me. Okay? So 11:15 is lunch. 12 o'clock, you're going to hop back on and continue working. 1:35, Related Arts. 2:20, dismissal. All right. If you have questions or feel like you might need help, feel free to stay logged in. If you are ready to work, you may log off, and I will see you guys at 2:20.